Nebraska? I was just at the airport like 17 minutes ago. I love your speed limit. I think 75 means 90, right? I'm a Midwestern man, and it's great to be here back in the Midwest where there is a war on everything you care about. There's a war being waged by these socialists on everything you value and you yourself. It shouldn't surprise you that anybody who puts their name forward to run for office just starts to find out the worst things about themselves. You can live for 50, 60, 70 years. You can be a success. Your kids can love and adore you. Your employees can think you're fantastic. And then you get up and read the paper, and you read about who they really think you are. When they go after Charles W. Herbster, when they go after Donald Trump, who are they really going after? You. They're going after you. There's a movement in this party to support rights. Think about it. The Republican Party was established to support the rights of every American. The Republican Party was established to end slavery, to give those former slaves their rights. Republicans then voted in greater percentages for all the legislation that went through Congress to restore civil rights. What about the party of wrongs? This new socialist party that will take every molehill and make it a mountain, that wants to call you a racist, that wants to call anybody that will stand up for America and the Constitution a hater and a racist. I've got news for these socialists. You've woken up the great heartland of America. You're not going to take this anymore. And you're not going to try the same old prescriptions to get rid of this cancer of cancel culture that's in our country. You're going to try new prescriptions. You know what it's called? Outsiders. Giving new people with traditional and old-fashioned ideas a chance to make the difference, which could be the final difference for our country. I ask you all over the course of the next several days to dig down deep and to go out there and talk to everybody you can to make sure that an outsider, a fresh face, can be the governor of Nebraska. And I think we're going to elect a lot more fresh faces around this country. And when you get to November, we're going to see a red wave tsunami like we haven't seen in a very long time. And after that tsunami, you're not done. Because Congress can do a lot, but Congress can't do everything. There's one more step to restore constitutional order in this country, and that is to what? Take back the White House. We can do it. It starts here in Nebraska. God bless you, and thank you for letting me be with you today. Thank you.
Well, that was a lot of fun to speak at that Save America rally right outside of Omaha, Nebraska, in between Omaha and Lincoln. They told me I only had a couple of minutes to speak, so I tried to get it all in. And you know, it's very, very important that CPAC continue to play an important role around the country in endorsing these candidates and making sure we have more of these outsiders, more of these independent voices who, when they say they're going to do things, they're actually going to do them. And I know that Charles W. Herbster, the candidate that we support to be the next governor of Nebraska, is just that very kind of person. Charles, thanks for joining us on CPAC Now America Uncanceled.
So great to join you. First of all, let me say thank you for being here basically all weekend, actually coming back 2 trips because of Friday night and rain and storms. We had an incredible rally. I have a surprise for you, Matt. Here is the paper. You and I made the headlines of the one of the most powerful papers in the state of Nebraska, the Lincoln Journal-Star, and in big bold letters it says under the picture with myself and the 45th president, "I'm here for you." And I appreciate the fact that you and Mercedes many, many months ago personally endorsed me to run and be the next governor of the state of Nebraska. We had an incredible rally. You were just fabulous in your remarks that you made. And I'm just so thankful for you and both of you and our personal relationship. But I'm thankful for CPAC. CPAC is changing people's lives across the United States, and it's making people aware of the fact that there is a patriot group of people out there that's growing every day, the same group that elected Donald J. Trump in 2016 to change America.
You know, thank you very much for those kind words, Charles. And I literally did, just so everybody knows, I did go to Nebraska twice, but I did that with joy in my heart because we got to elect the right people. And Charles, one of the things that's happened in the intervening period of time is this terrible breach of Supreme Court protocol and probably an oath of office with this leak of this draft of a majority opinion that would overturn Roe v. Wade and send this question of abortion, which is very controversial, back to the states. You put out a tweet, which I just loved. With reports of Roe v. Wade being overturned, I want to be clear that if I was governor, I would immediately call the legislature into session to protect as many unborn Nebraskans as quickly as possible. Talk to us a little bit more about how important this issue is.
It's a huge issue, and just think about it. If we would not have elected Donald J. Trump in 2016, we would not have 3 new conservative Supreme Court justices today, and their vote, I truly believe, will overturn Roe versus Wade. This is a moment for you, Matt, Mercedes, myself, all of us as conservatives. And I can tell you, whenever it happens, if it happens this weekend, if it happens Monday, as governor, I would call in our senators the very next day, and we would lead the way of banning all abortions in the state of Nebraska.
Well, I applaud you for that, and I think that, you know, it's so disingenuous of these national socialist Democrats saying that abortion would be banned throughout the land. I think Elizabeth Warren got all in a lather today by the Supreme Court. I'm pretty sure the state of Massachusetts is going to have different laws than the state of Nebraska, and that's why people have choices in this country on where they want to live.
They absolutely do. And I think you're seeing that. Certainly the pandemic has caused some of that. But I can tell you, as the next governor of the state of Nebraska, I want everybody to know that we're open for business 24/7. I want people to know that we're going to stop all critical race theory being taught in all of our school systems, including the university. We are going to take a whole new look at the drugs, the illegals that are coming across the border. And I want to know if somebody's coming across the border in Nebraska from our open border in Texas and in Arizona and down south, I want to know who they are and why they're here.
You know, Charles, you've been very involved in the agriculture economy. You employ people across the country and in the state of Nebraska. You understand what China is trying to do in our country. I was really taken aback by the comments you made at the rally about what the Chinese are doing in pursuing as much land grabbing as they possibly can in America.
China's already purchased over 200,000 acres of prime farmland here in the Midwest in various states. The value of that is about $2.2 billion. They're going to continue to do that. They're buying agricultural technology. They're buying agricultural businesses. They're buying packing houses. I told the group at the rally on Sunday, when I become governor of the state of Nebraska, I will make sure China cannot buy 1 acre of land in this state and 1 agricultural business. They will take over our food supply. It is a national security issue, Matt.
And basically this question about what's going on with our food supply, we have allowed, this is all part of the supply chain question, how our meat is processed, how it hits our tables, and how vulnerable our food system is to the Chinese.
I've been saying for the last year, America is going to have a food shortage in 2022. I believe that because we cannot get a lot of the fertilizer that we need this year for our crops, and what we can get is tripled in price. Diesel fuel is up double in price. I can tell you, for the farmers, not only in this state, but in the entire Midwest, think about it. America is the breadbasket of the world. We feed America, plus we feed the world. It's going to be a tremendous, tremendous challenge. And when you can't get certain products, when you can't get fertilizer, when you can't get certain chemicals to make a better crop, take care of your weeds, all the things that we do as farmers and ranchers, I do both. I can tell you that's going to take down the overall national yield. You add on the dry weather that we have, what's happening in Australia, what's happening in South America. I'm very, very concerned about what I see. And this is another thing that China will use against us to come in and buy up more land so they control our food supply.
And the other piece of this is America's energy, formerly independence. Now it seems like we're wanting to go back into a defensive posture again under the Biden administration. This war on fossil fuels, which, as you just said, contributes to diesel fuel being double in price. So it's that much more expensive for a farmer, or a rancher, or a businessman or woman to run their operations. Tell us a little bit about the impact on Nebraska on these radical policies that would make us more dependent on foreign sources of energy.
Well, one thing we know, the first day that Joe Biden took office in the White House, he canceled executive orders that had been put in place by President Donald J. Trump. One of those affected Nebraska was the Keystone Pipeline. And when he did that day, he knocked out somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 people who had jobs working on the Keystone Pipeline. Isn't it amazing that in 3 years, President Donald J. Trump took us to an energy independent country. We hadn't been energy independent for 75 years. We were actually exporting energy. And now, just in about 18 months, we're back going to Russia, going to Venezuela, going to Iran, going to Saudi Arabia, begging them to give us energy, to give us oil. And it has been catastrophic, from energy costs for people's homes, for their vehicles, for farmers, for their tractors, for truckers. It's been absolutely catastrophic to our economy. They say inflation's about 8.5%. I'm going to share with you, Matt, inflation is about 25%.
Wow. I mean, it's just frightening. I mean, these are, it's very hard for people to navigate around these basic depressing economic realities. And I think that's a little part of this, which is, I hail from Kansas, you hail from Nebraska. They're both Republican states. So a lot of voters can say, well, we're probably going to have a Republican governor of Nebraska. What does it really matter? You're really running as, I think, a very unique type of Republican. You've not been in politics, although you've always helped people in politics. You haven't been in years and years in elected office. You've been a successful business person, and now you're throwing your hat in this very important race. Why does it matter the type of Republican you are?
First of all, I don't need the job. I mean that sincerely. You know me personally. I'm very, very happy, very successful in the things that we do today. I had a lot of struggle, like most people do, building businesses over the years. Almost went bankrupt 3 times. Thank goodness the Lord and hard work has helped us through that. Now we're debt-free. I love being debt-free, Matt. That's a big issue today. Let me share something with you. But let me tell you, every state has a swamp, and every state has a rhino Republican establishment. Nebraska is one of those. I am beating on the door of the establishment. They don't like that. They can't control what I do. They can't control what I say. And they know that I'm going to be the governor for every single person walking on the streets of Nebraska. It's not about me. It's about the voters. It's about the people out there every day who are figuring out a way of how I'm going to live this year with a very low increase in salary, everything else that they're involved in their businesses, and the cost of living because of inflation per couple, and probably even the state of Nebraska, is going to be somewhere between $6,000 and $9,000 more.
Yeah, and part of this success means that gives you an extra independence. You're not having to run around the state collecting a bunch of checks. I can say in full disclosure, you haven't asked me to write you a check. You're doing this yourself. That's a very unique thing in politics. Donald Trump had that ability in that first race when he basically financed it himself. That gives you some insulation from the normal pressures and pulls that can happen. Even an honest person gets elected into politics. They have to figure out a way to fix the financial needs they have to run their campaigns. You're immune from that.
As Nebraska, I'm going to address Nebraska issues like I would as the CEO of the 6 companies that I own. It's a business. We have a budget. We have to look at what our expenses are. We have to look at everyone and what their needs are. We've got to change our tax system, our tax code in Nebraska. We've certainly got to change how to fund our schools. I can tell you, as well as eliminating CRT, we're going to go back and we're going to put sex education back being taught in the families and the homes where it should be. And as governor, I am huge on school choice. Moms and dads need to decide what's the best school system, whether it's homeschooling, private, public, for their children.
Now, you had this really special thing where the President of the United States touches down, comes out to the field there, and is coming in to help you, Charles. That's got to feel very gratifying. Is there any kind of insight you'd like to share with our audience about what that meant or any words you shared with the president?
I will just share with you that the president is extremely loyal. I've been loyal to him. Judy and I, my wife who passed away, was there the day, June 16th. He came down the escalator in 2015 at Trump Plaza. We were loyal to him throughout both of his campaigns. And he's the type of person that is loyal and his word is good. You know, every promise he made in 2016 before he became president, he made good on that promise. And he told me months ago, he said, I am going to endorse you for the next governor of the state of Nebraska, no matter what anybody else says. And I'm going to come and he made good on that. And he came on Sunday and it was an honor. It was an honor to have him here in Nebraska just for me.
And it was great to stand there with you and David Bossie of Citizens United and the great Jack Brewer, former NFL great, who's just a really outstanding human being. Charles, I got a really tough question to end this interview with. When you become the next governor of Nebraska, are you going to forget about CPAC or are you going to come talk to us every year?
I will come every year and be at CPAC with you and Mercedes because I love CPAC.
That's the right answer, Charles. I think you probably knew that. Best of luck to you this week. I know voting is starting soon. The election is this coming Tuesday, right after Mother's Day. We encourage everybody in Nebraska to get out there and vote for a very good man, Charles W. Herbster. And we're going to be right back after this short break. Well, Charles W. Herbster is a great guy, and I hope if you live in Nebraska and you're watching this show, you'll get out and vote for him. And we're very proud to have CPAC be behind him 100%. Now, we talked about this really disgusting, disgraceful leak that came out of the Supreme Court. I personally believe that everyone likes to blame staff. And in my time working for President Bush or working on Capitol Hill, reporters would learn information and the office holders would always immediately blame staff. And what I learned through the years is oftentimes those leaks come from the office holder themselves. So I think it's a mistake to assume that this leak came from a clerk. It could have been a Supreme Court justice, obviously on the left, that gave the nod to a staffer or a clerk to leak this. But in any case, I'd like to see an investigation. I think we all would. If there's any tie to a current Supreme Court justice, I think it's impeachable. I think this new Republican Congress has some tough questions ahead about how they handle this lawlessness that we're seeing from socialists across the 3 branches of government. It's really a disgraceful thing. But this whole question of abortion in society, obviously CPAC is a proudly pro-life organization, and I am as well. But you can see all the drama play out in the court, in front of the court, which used to be a place where you had no politics. And now it's a place where it's the very epicenter of all these rallies and all these angry and discordant voices. And in the midst of all that, we sent 2 of our staffers there, Colton and Aaron, who tried to capture some interesting video vignettes for you in case you're very far away from all the chaos of Washington, D.C. I hope you enjoy those conversations they had, and thanks again for being with us on CPAC Now, America Uncanceled. Watch these videos. Interesting stuff.
A breach of traditions of
betrayal.
astonishing leak.
Last night, Politico published a report with what it calls a draft opinion from the Supreme Court justices.
The leak is meant to pressure the conservative justices on the court.
Hey everyone, Colton Furlow here. We are right outside the United States Supreme Court. Now we are out here with hundreds of protesters and we're going to interview them to see what they think about this. Do you care about the 62 million people who are dead? Of unborn children. Isn't that just beautiful?
Don't force your breeding kink on us.
My breeding kink. What do you mean by that?
I don't exist to breed.
Okay, then you don't have to.
Okay, great. Let me get my tubes tied. Let me have full autonomy over my body. Let me stop.
What about the autonomy of the unborn child?
Okay, so.
Life begins at conception.
Okay, great. So if you can use my body to fertilize an egg, then can I use your kidney? Can I use your blood?
Did you
Can I use
are we
your
talking
bone
about
marrow?
consent?
Do you know that this isn't just about abortion? This is an unenumerated right. Do you even know what that means?
There is no right in the Constitution. I know what an enumerated right is. This is why we're going to send it back to the states. That's why states. No, there's no right to privacy.
Exactly, it's an unenumerated right. Right to due process is an unenumerated right.
So the purpose of this case in overturning Roe v. Wade is to send it back to the states.
Turning over an unenumerated right. You turn over
It's to
one,
send
you
it back
turn
to
over everyone.
No, the federal government does not get to control these rights. The states get to.
Really? Really? That's literally their job is to decide.
No,
this.
they are deciding to send it back to the states.
It's not.
Okay, so these people clearly have no idea what this case is all about, so we're just going to move on here. Can anyone tell me their favorite part of killing children? So we are out here with Tina from Students for Life, and you are actually one of the organizers of this event out here today?
Yep, so I'm the Executive Vice President of Students for Life of America. So we have about 100 Students for Life groups in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area that we called on our students and our staff to come out here today.
Can you tell me why it was necessary to bring out so many people in full force today?
Yeah, well, with this unprecedented leak from the Supreme Court, right, that really causes us to question the integrity of the court, and it's really bad for them. But what was leaked is potentially really good for the pro-life movement. And so for us, we don't want to see the justices feel like they're bullied, but that we can support them. So for us, it's just reaffirming. This is what was stated in the leaked brief is things that were already in our amicus brief that we submitted to the court. We've been working as a post-Roe organization for the last 16 years at Students for Life, so we're ready. We're ready to see Roe reversed. We're ready to have it go back to the states and have young people vote on abortion. We know 80% of millennials and Gen Z want to vote on the issue of abortion, want to say in their states. So to see this reversal of Roe and Casey, see it go back to the states where we can actually have some real movement on the issue of abortion is just really exciting to us. And so we just want to keep that momentum going and let the courts know we're with you. This is a good decision.
Don't touch him. Can you guys explain to me the insanity this woman is screaming about?
Well, she says she cares about minorities, but
This is public property.
Move.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to move. Sorry.
and your microphone's not on it.
How is it not on? It's right here. Ding-a-ling.
So they claim to care about people of color. Typical of a white person shutting down a person of color, an immigrant. Thank you. I am an immigrant.
You're interrupting. See what you're interrupting.
This is very disrespectful of you guys. Excuse me.
Okay. I guess it's only okay to speak if you're a person of color if you agree with them.
I mean, that is the ideology of the left. They do not care about minorities unless they agree with them.
Yes. And
The very tolerant left, everyone. No, you're acting like a crazy person.
so the crazy thing is that they claim to care about people of color, but abortion disproportionately targets people of color, and we know how Planned Parenthood was created and what it was created for. So I think this is all absurd.
Over 60% of abortions since Roe v. Wade have been people of color and minorities.
Yes, that's true. You don't see it in affluent communities. You see it in communities like where I grew up. There was a Planned Parenthood there. They referred me in high school to Planned Parenthood. That was the first time I went to a Planned Parenthood. I was 15 years old, and they told me to get what I needed from them. They didn't give me any other choices, and I went there.
Right. You just said it yourself. These people do not care about choices. They only care about abortion.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you look at New York City alone, more black babies are aborted than born every year.
Yeah. They claim to care about minorities, and I don't know how many more millions of black babies or black people would be born had it not been for abortion. Right?
Well, I definitely appreciate you being out here today and fighting back against this craziness.
Thank you.
How is this biblical? Almost got a paper cut. How? They don't have answers. Does anyone have an answer? How?
Abortion is essential.
How?
Abortion is essential.
How?
Abortion is essential.
How?
Abortion is essential. Abortion is get your goofy ass out
How?
of my face. Essential.
How?
Abortion is essential.
Yes, how?
Abortion is essential.
Do you not have answers?
Is essential.
Do you not have answers? No, they don't have answers. Angry. Why are you angry? No. They're so angry, but they can't tell me why they're angry. They're so angry that I see that Catholics support abortion. How is that biblical?
That's not the question.
Catholics support abortion access. How is this biblical?
What if someone doesn't believe in the Bible?
Catholics
Right.
support.
I support civil rights for everyone, not just Catholics, not just Christians.
Are you a Catholic, though?
Yes.
So how can you
But I'm
support
looking
abortion?
out for the rights of everyone.
So what
regardless
about
of
the
belief.
rights of the unborn?
What about the rights of the mother?
Right. So what about the rights of the unborn?
What about them? Tell me about the children's welfare program.
That's a whole different argument.
It's not.
It is. Are you?
You also care about the outcome of the child's life?
Okay. So the outcome of a child's life does not matter whether it's conceived through rape, consent, whatever. If they're ready for it, because I know people who have been conceived through consent, had a stable life, and then was brought up terribly.
I'm not sure what that argument is.
You're asking about, do I care about the upbringing of the child? How is that
I'll
relevant?
give you a case study. Mother has an unwanted pregnancy, can't afford to raise a child, gets sick, dies during the pregnancy. Mortality rate is pretty high for mothers. What happens to that child?
Goes into foster care, or the family can take care of it?
I don't feel like this is a productive discussion. I think that you're sidetracking what the basic rights.
You kind of sidetracked it because I asked you about how this is biblical.
It doesn't matter how it's biblical.
How can Catholics support abortion?
That's not what I'm here for.
Your sign says Catholics support abortion. How do Catholics?
For everybody, not just.
But how do Catholics? Are you a Catholic?
Yes.
So how do you support abortion when that is unbiblical?
That's not the important question.
The Bible says thou shalt not murder.
That's not the question here today. This is not a land of the Bible. This is the United States.
But as a Catholic yourself, how can you support
What
abortion?
I believe.
And that doesn't make sense. You are holding a sign that says, but you're holding a sign.
That's true.
Okay, so then get rid of the sign.
It's my sign.
The logic here does not add up. We're talking about Catholics supporting abortion. That goes against everything that the Bible stands for. She's talking about all human rights. Well, what about the rights of the unborn child? That unborn child doesn't get a chance to say, hey, I don't want to be slaughtered to death. I don't want to be killed. I don't want my life to be taken away. So what about those rights of the unborn child? They don't care about it. They're only for abortion. There's no choice involved. If they were supporting choice, they would support the choice of these pregnancy crisis centers, but they don't. They only support abortion and the killing of a child.